Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is midday check in with Dr. K. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in. We are going to get started in just a couple of seconds. We thank you all for joining in. So we're going to get ready to get started. Hey, Solana, how are you? Hello, hello, hello. This is midday check in with Dr. K. So we're going to get right get started because I don't want to belabor. I don't want to hold you guys up. I know it's the lunch around the lunchtime if you're taking a later lunch. Um, but this is midday check-in. So I put a question out there earlier today, and the question was um, basically how to move on past an apology that you may never get? How do you move on past the apology that you're looking for that you may never get and move into your place of healing? How do you move on? How do you get past the apology that you may never get and move into your place of healing and still move into your place of healing? And so, once again, I want to greet everybody. I want to reset the room. And I want to say hello to IG, to Facebook, and to YouTube. So, how do you move past the apology you may never get and move into your place of healing? And so you may say, is that even possible? Well, I'm here to give you good news. Yes, it is possible. It is very possible. Okay. So listen, maybe those of you on IG and Facebook, you've been having this conversation. You want to share this post. You want to tag some people so you don't have to keep having this conversation. If it's not for you, maybe it's for some people you know. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, the first thing you must do is one is identify, right? What do I mean by identify? Acknowledge. Okay. The worst thing we can do, and especially for those of us now, again, I'm a therapist, certified counselor, certified therapist, um, bunch of credentials, right? Um, and I'm here to help you. The worst thing we can do is ignore that a person has been violated or what's the word I'm looking for, has been offended. So we want to acknowledge the offense. We want to acknowledge the offense. Okay. We want to validate. We want to acknowledge that the person has been offended, that there has been an offense, right? We want to acknowledge that there has been an offense. We want to validate that person. Um we want to recognize that that person has been hurt, that their feelings have been hurt, their pride has been hurt, their um, situation is a very real situation. Now, to us, it may not sound that monumental. It may not sound like it's that big of a deal, but to them, it could mean everything. So we want to take the time to acknowledge that. Okay. And even us ourselves, if we are the ones that have been offended, we listen, give yourself permission to acknowledge the offense. Okay. That number two, validate it. Okay. um and spend some time doing it. Don't allow people to rush you through your process. Okay. Many times, especially those of us who are goal oriented people, who are problem solvers, we want to rush people through their process. No, don't rush people through their process. Give them time to lament if that's what they need to do, right? Now, I'm not saying give them 10 years. I'm not saying you can stay there with them for 10 years, but people need time, okay? So give them their time. Three, recognize that some people are just not capable. Some people are just not capable. They are just not capable to do or give them what we're expecting them to give us. Sometimes our expectations are unrealistic, okay? And I've had to come to that conclusion with several people in my life, okay? Sometimes our expectations of others are just unrealistic. And when you realize that your expectations are just that, they're your expectations. And so when you realize that your expectations of someone else are unrealistic, then that's when you can begin to say, okay, this is what I would do. This is how I would respond. But this is not something that I can expect from everybody else. Even for those of us that follow Christian principles, we have a tendency to say, well, this is what the Bible says, so all Christians. But no, listen, sometimes people are just not capable of doing what we're expecting them to do. So we have to recognize what we would do versus what other people are doing, what other people would do. Hey, IG, how are you? What other people would do, right? So, not putting our expectations on other people, recognizing that some people are not, especially if people grew up in homes where apologizing was not the custom. If they never learned how to apologize, they are not going. If they, okay, watch this. If they never learned, if they never heard how to apologize, and then they never learned how to apologize, they're not going to know how to apologize. Okay. So we can't expect them to apologize to us, right? And um, we'll be waiting a lifetime. Okay. So learning when our expectations are too much. The fourth thing, and I'm gonna always add this because um for 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 me and for those that I teach as a Christian counselor, pray, seek his face, and ask for wisdom. We have to always do that. We have to always pray. We have to always seek God's face, and we're going to have to always ask for wisdom because one of the things that we cannot do is lean to our own understanding. We cannot lean to our own understanding, especially when we're dealing with um, God's people, right? And then the fifth thing, I always like acronyms because acronyms are easy. They help. If you don't remember anything else I said, it helps you to remember. And um, so our fifth thing is life. Okay, that's the acronym. So L is for love. Um, you the Bible tells us in First Corinthians, love covers a multitude. Love is long suffering. Love is an action word, and so we want to show love. Now, remember, love is an action word. It's action, right? It's not goosebumps and you know um all that we see it in Hollywood. It's an action word. Okay. I is we have to be intentional. Okay. Even though a person may not have apologized, or may not, even though they may not even have acknowledged the offense. Okay, but what's attached to you sitting and living in that every day? What do you have to lose? Okay, so you have to be intentional in saying, I'm not going to stay stuck. I'm not going to stay stuck. F is for forgiveness. Now, this is the big one. You have to, first of all, choose to love, be intentional, and walk in forgiveness. Now, this is where we get messed up, because just because I forgive doesn't mean I have to restore. And that's where we get messed up, because um and I'm going to give you the example. I was molested. Now I walk in forgiveness, but I'm not restoring that person. I'm not going to necessarily be left alone in a room with that person, nor am I leaving that person in a room with my girls. Okay. Um, but I forgive him. All right. So I forgive, but I don't have to let you back in the same place that you were in to do that offense to me again. So I'm choosing to love you. I'm choosing to be intentional, not to allow that situation to keep me stuck. I'm choosing to walk in forgiveness, but I'm also choosing not to restore you to be able to do that to me again. And then the last letter is E. I have to evolve. I have to decide. Listen, life is too short. What I have, um, and what's at stake is too valuable, and I am not going to allow what happened to keep me stuck. I have too much value in me. I have too much at stake, and um, you know, the choice to forgive is not for them, but it's for me. And so I have to evolve, and I have to recognize that really, when I stay stuck, it's not them that's losing out, it's me. And so this acronym is life. And so if I want to bring life back to me, this is what I have to do. If you want to bring life back to you, these are the steps that you have to do to move beyond an apology that you may never get. Again, this is your midday check in with Dr. K. I pray that something was said to bless you, to help you get through the rest of your week, to help you move beyond the apology that you may never get. God bless you. I love you, and you can't do a thing about it. Enjoy the rest of your day, the balance of your week. Live on purpose. See you soon. And remember, live life and move beyond an apology that you may never get. God bless you.